So if you eat until you're satisfied at every meal, and I would say if it's 70% healthy food, like 30% could be not so healthy. But if you eat till the point of satisfaction rather than full, overfull, stuffed, lethargic, heavy, unwell, bloated, from my experience, you will release weight. I want to share. So I had dinner last night with my husband. It was Monday night, and we ordered sushi. We had a bottle of Prosecco. He's been out of town for over a week, so he was home, and I thought it would be fun to have like a date night. So we fed the kids, put them to bed, and we ordered sushi. And why I want to share this is because it was different for us because we set out the sushi, we had our champagne or Prosecco, and then he's like, do you want to watch a show? Because often on date night, we'll watch like a fun show. And I said, actually, no, I just want to like chat. I just want to talk to you. I just want to like hear about your trip. And like, I don't want to watch a show because I rather connect with the food and the Prosecco and with you. And so I just want to represent the idea of, if you resonate with this, why do we have to have distractions while we eat? And it doesn't have to be with your husband or your kids, it could be even just at lunch. Why do we feel like the meal is not? It's so weird because we obsess about food, we think about food, we make food, we buy food, we look at food on TV, and then it comes and it's like all this ado, and then we don't even, a lot of us, I know me a lot of the time, it's like we don't even experience it, like we don't fully like embrace it and appreciate it. So does anyone relate to that? It's like there's a lot of thinking and planning and prep and buying, and then it comes and it's like, let's just watch TV while we eat. And it's like, that doesn't even make sense. Okay, so we sat, we were quite distraction free, I guess you could say. So if any of this resonates, you could write notes. Like maybe this is something you could bring into your meals at night or your own personal meals at lunch. Another thing was the conversation. So when he starts talking about like Twitter got bought and politics and like Trudeau, and I'm like, my whole body just like seizes. I'm like, I'm like, this is not dinner conversation. I'm like, we need to talk about your trip or like the kids, but like, this just makes my body feel anxiety. And if he wants to talk it through, I'm like, that's fine. But a happy person could digest a stone. There's a quote that says that. And so if you're eating while you're feeling tense in your body, I promise you, you'll have indigestion, you'll have farting, you'll have gas, you'll have bloating, you'll have bad poos, you'll have like issues, you'll hold more weight because of the cortisol. Because whenever we feel stress, our cortisol rises, our belly, the hormones that make us hold belly fat increase, our appetite increases, and it's not for healthy food, it's for carbs. So like, that's another thing I would invite you. Are you doing stress producing things? Are you checking email? Are you making phone calls? Are you having stressful conversations with your husband? Are you watching a scary movie? Are you watching the news? Are you watching things that make you feel anything but peaceful and at ease and pleasure and excited about the meal? And if you're not sure, that's okay. That's a practice to slow down enough to go, whoa, my body is so tense and I feel like nauseous and my stomach's in knots and my chest isn't. And then when you eat well, you feel like that, you don't digest well, but also you're more likely to overeat because you don't want to feel that shit. And it's like, there's so many things. So that's another thing. Just deciding if you do want to multitask while you eat, which even talking to my husband sort of is multitasking, but I'm okay with that because I think it's very nice. It's like, okay, I don't want to talk about those topics. Is that making sense? And having boundaries. And like Lori, your boundary could just be, I really just can we just once a week turn the TV off, or like, can we not talk about that? Because it just makes my body feel, ugh. And then like, not in a criticizing way, but just in a boundary, like a loving boundary. Like I would so much more enjoy this meal if we could just like not talk about Trudeau. Sorry, I hate Trudeau. No, I won't bring politics into this. But anywho, Becky knows about Trudeau. Okay, so that's one thing, conversation or whatever makes your body feel, to try to do your best to avoid it. And then the other thing is the food choice. So we ordered sushi, and because I know my body, when I eat a lot of rice, I bloat up, I don't sleep as well, I wake up with kind of a sugary hangover. I still had white rice, I still had a couple rolls, and I ordered a seaweed salad, and I ordered quite a bit of sashimi, which is just the fish. And I'm not telling you like you should order sashimi and seaweed salad if you're like, that's not my style, but I didn't say, no, we can't have sushi at night because it's carbs and it's white rice. I was just like, I'm going to have some moderation with this. So that's another thing to keep presencing is like, you don't have to not have carbs or bread or pasta, just watching the portion. And then another thing was like food waste. A couple of the rolls didn't get eaten. Like, and the old me would have just eaten them because I would have been like, well, they won't be that good tomorrow. There's avocado in them. I might as well just eat them because we paid for them and they were kind of expensive. And I would have had all this story about it. And my husband doesn't have those stories. So he's like, I'm full, I'm good. And I'm like, there's a few pieces left, we have to eat them. My heart said that, but then my belly or my brain said that, and my heart was like, no, you don't have to eat them. Because I don't know if you're gonna like this quote, but if it doesn't go to waste, like the waste basket, it goes to your waste. And an old-fashioned one, you've probably heard me say, which is kind of old-fashioned, but it's kind of, I like it. A moment on your lips, a lifetime on your hips. And I'm not saying that in a shamey way. It's just true. If you're overeating, if you're full already, if you had the satisfaction from the meal, there's no benefit to eating the food. It's not saving a child in Africa. It's not helping anyone. And if you want to put it in a to-go container for the next day, awesome. Oh my God, look at my pits, my armpits. I never should wear this color. This gray is just like horrible. Okay, I sweat a lot. Too much information. So does anyone want to share how that sits with you, that idea of like food waste? Because that sometimes is a really big one for people. Just to really drive this point home, there's been research done on this, but your natural metabolism, your natural rhythm, your ability to burn calories and keep up and just maintain homeostasis, you're not going to gain weight, you're not going to lose weight, is equal to your hunger. So if you eat until you're satisfied at every meal, and I would say if it's 70% healthy food, like 30% could be not so healthy, but if you eat till the point of satisfaction rather than full, overfull, stuffed, lethargic, heavy, unwell, bloated, from my experience, you will release weight. It's when we're snacking, when we're not really hungry. It's when we're eating a little too many bites at one meal or two meals. It's when we're drinking our calories, like putting too much sugary stuff. Like that's, I think, a bigger issue than the actual food itself. Is this making sense? So portions are important, and some people have to portion their food. They have to measure and weigh and everything. And that's okay, I think, for awareness. So you learn what's a portion for you if you don't know. And the higher thing that I think is trust yourself. Maybe buy smaller plates. That's a good tool. And know you can go back for more if you're still hungry, and trust your body, and then sit, less distractions, less stress, more presence, more feet on the floor, more forks down once in a while, more chewing, more tasting, more gratitude, and just like slow it all down. So then I find portion control kind of goes out the window. You don't need it because you're like, yeah, my belly's so good. I feel good. And it's not like, oh, but did I get enough calories or did I eat too many calories? It's like your body's got it.